Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Anuja Kumar with the Midday News. The headlines. Both houses of Parliament witnessed adjournments amid protests by opposition members over rise in prices of petrol, diesel and LPG cylinders. Government sets a target of creating 220 new airports by 2025, informs Civil Aviation Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia in Lok Sabha. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate Biplabi Baharat Gallery at Victoria Memorial Hall, Kolkata this evening through video conferencing on the occasion of Shaheed Divas. Nehru Yuva Kendra Sangathan observes Shaheed Divas across the country as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. India scripts history by achieving its highest ever goods export target of $400 billion today. Senior BJP leader Pushkar Singh Dhami to be sworn in as Chief Minister of Uttarakhand this afternoon. Budget session of Delhi Assembly begins. In Swiss Open Badminton, PV Sindhu, Saina Nehwal and K. Srikanth to start their campaign today, and top seed Ashley Barty announces retirement from professional tennis. As we start the bulletin, we appeal to our listeners to stay safe from COVID-19 by following these 4 simple steps. Get fully vaccinated, wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. And other news in detail. Both houses of Parliament witnessed adjournments following protests by opposition members over the rise in prices of petrol, diesel and LPG cylinders. As soon as the Lok Sabha met for the day, Congress member Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary raised the issue of price rise. Members of Congress, DMK and the left then trooped into the well of the House demanding rollback of price rise of petroleum products. Speaker Om Birla tried to run the House amidst continuous sloganeering. Parliamentary Affairs Minister Prahlad Joshi said the people of the country have shown their faith again in the recently concluded Assembly elections. As the pandemonium continued, the Speaker adjourned the House till 12 noon. When the Rajya Sabha met for the day, Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu said several members have given notices for discussion on the issue of rise in prices. However, Mr. Naidu disallowed the notices, saying this is not an issue to discuss. However, opposition members displaying posters in the House demanded discussion on the issue. Members of Treasury benches raised the issue of violence in Birbhum district of West Bengal. As the noisy scenes continued, the chairman adjourned the House till 12 noon. Proceedings of both houses have since resumed. Members of the Rajya Sabha today paid tribute to legendary freedom fighters Sardar Bhagat Singh, Rajguru and Sukhdev, who sacrificed their lives on this day in 1931. When the House met for the day, Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu said the heroic trio exemplified great valor, undaunted courage and unflinching patriotism towards our motherland. He said these martyrs, who were still in their early 20s, sacrificed their lives while putting up a strong fight against the oppressive colonial regime. Mr. Naidu said these martyrs not only strove to free our nation from the fetters of colonialism, but also envisioned an ideal society devoid of communalism, hatred, economic disparity, and retrogressive ideas. He said the saga of their bravery and patriotism inspired many and will continue to inspire generations to come. He said the celebration of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav is a commendable step in paying our tributes and heartfelt gratitude towards our freedom fighters. He asked the members to carry forward the legacy of cooperation, unity and fraternity by sensitizing citizens of the invaluable contributions of freedom fighters. Members of the House observed silence as a mark of respect to the memory of these brave martyrs.
Civil Aviation Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia today said that the government has set a target of creating 220 new airports by 2025. Replying to the demands for grants of the Civil Aviation Ministry for 2022-23, Mr. Scindia said that India had forged ahead in domestic and international travel during the COVID pandemic. He said cargo flights for perishable food items will be increased to 30% with 133 new flights in the coming years. Mr. Scindia told that the simplification of pilot license will be done in coming days with the latest technology. He said the government plans to create 33 new domestic cargo terminals, set up 15 new flight training schools for pilots, creation of more jobs, increased focus on drone sector. The minister informed the House that 3.82 lakh passengers per day undertook air travel in the last 7 days. He also informed that ministry is targeting to triple the passengers throughout from 34.5 crore in 2018-19 to 40 crore in 2023-24. Mr. Sindhia said 90 flights sent to 5 countries evacuated the students in Ukraine. Mr. Sindhia thanked the Indian force, which conducted 14 sorties and operated 4 C-17 Globemasters during the evacuation. He also lauded private airlines for their contribution during the entire process. The minister informed the House that Indigo operated 35 flights, Air India 14, Go First 6, Air Asia 3, Air India Express and SpiceJet 9 each for ferrying the students back home. The minister thanked the airlines, pilots, crews, members of the embassy and our non-resident Indians who did everything possible for their disposal to help during the process. The minister informed the House that 15% of the total pilot strength in the country are women. The government today said the Textiles Ministry is implementing National Handloom Development Program and Raw Material Supply Scheme for development of handlooms and welfare of weavers across the country. Replying to a question in the Lok Sabha, Minister of Textiles, Ms. Darshana V. Jardosh said, under the above schemes, financial assistance is provided to the eligible handloom agencies for raw materials, common infrastructure development and marketing of handloom products. She informed the House that in order to create awareness about handloom schemes, chopals and seminars are organized from time to time. The minister said in order to make textile products cost competitive and adopting the principle of zero-rated export, the government has given its approval for continuation of rebate of state and central taxes and levies ROSCTL on exports and apparel and garments till the 31st of March 2024.
Minister of State for Consumer Affairs Ashwini Kumar Chaubey today informed the Lok Sabha that the All India average retail prices of 22 essential food items have shown an upward pressure since the outbreak of the Russia-Ukraine conflict. In a written reply, he said, taking into account price trends, the government has taken various measures from time to time to augment domestic availability and stabilize prices of essential food commodities. Mr. Chaubey said these steps include releases from the buffer to cool down prices, imposition of stock limits, monitoring of stocks declared by entities to prevent hoarding, as also requisite changes in trade policy instruments like rationalization of import duty and changes in import quota. A record budget of more than 1 lakh crore rupees has been allocated for the education sector for the upcoming financial year 2022-23. This was stated by the Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan in a written reply in the Rajya Sabha today. He said public expenditure on education has grown continuously in the country in recent years. He said public expenditure on education was 4.07% in 2014-15, which has grown to 4.39% of GDP in 2019-20. The minister said the centre and states are working together to increase the public investment in the education sector to reach 6% of gross domestic product.
The centre today said there is no report of starvation deaths from states and union territories. In a written reply in the Lok Sabha, the Minister of State for Food and Public Distribution, Sadhvi Niranjan Jyoti, said the government is implementing the National Food Security Act 2013, which provides for coverage up to 75% of the rural population and up to 50% of the urban population for receiving highly subsidized food grains under targeted public distribution system. She said it covers about 2/3 of the total population, which as per census 2011 comes to 81 crore 35 lakh. She said the coverage under the Act is substantially high to ensure that all the vulnerable and needy sections of the society get its benefit. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate Biplabi Baharat Gallery at Victoria Memorial Hall, Kolkata, today on the occasion of Shahid Divas at 6 p.m. through video conferencing. The gallery displays the contribution of the revolutionaries in the freedom struggle and their armed resistance to the British colonial rule. The purpose of this new gallery is to provide a holistic view of the events that led up to 1947 and highlight the important role played by the revolutionaries. Mr. Modi will also address the gathering during the event.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi paid tributes to the brave sons of Mother India, Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev and Rajguru on the occasion of Shahid Divas. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said their passion to sacrifice their lives for the motherland will always inspire countrymen. Nehru Yuva Kendra Sangathan is observing Shahid Divas in all 623 districts across the country today as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. On the 23rd of March 1931, Bhagat Singh, Rajguru and Sukhdev were hanged to death. In memory of the sacrifices made by the brave young revolutionaries, India observes Shahid Divas every year on the 23rd of March. The Youth Affairs Ministry said the day is being organized by Nehru Yuva Kendra by focusing on the theme Tribute to Revolutionaries.
India has scripted history by achieving its highest ever goods export target of $400 billion today. The target was achieved 9 days ahead of schedule. Prime Minister Narendra Modi in a tweet said India set an ambitious target of $400 billion of goods exports and achieved this target for the first time ever. He congratulated country's farmers, weavers, MSMEs, manufacturers and exporters for this success. The Prime Minister said this is a key milestone in the Atmanirbhar Bharat journey. Defence Acquisition Council DAC, under the chairmanship of Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, has cleared the procurement of 14 items worth over 380 crore rupees from the Innovations for Defence Excellence or IDEX startups or MSMEs. These items will be procured by the Indian Army, Navy and the Air Force. The DAC also approved the new simplified procedure for procurement from the IDEX startups and MSMEs. This would fast-track the procurement from the startups or MSMEs.
Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has asked educational institutions to play a bigger role in achieving sustainable development goals. Mr. Naidu virtually inaugurated today the 96th annual meet of the Association of Indian Universities and National Seminar of Vice-Chancellors being hosted by the University of Mysore. He said primary, secondary and higher educational institutions need to consciously adopt practices that lead to the achievement of sustainable development goals. Mr. Naidu said colleges and universities can contribute in a number of ways, such as research, policy development and engagement with societies for creating awareness and effective implementation of sustainable development strategies. In Uttarakhand, Pushkar Singh Dhami will be sworn in as the 12th Chief Minister of the state in a grand ceremony in a short while in Dehradun today. Swearing-in ceremony will be held around 2:30 p.m. at the parade ground in Dehradun. More than 6 ministers are likely to be sworn in along with Mr. Dhami. The ceremony will be a grand affair with many senior leaders and functionaries of the party attending the swearing-in. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Home Minister Amit Shah, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, BJP President J.P. Nadda, State Party in charge Prahlad Joshi, BJP Party General Secretary Kailash Vijayvargiya and Chief Ministers of BJP-ruled states, including Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma, Himachal Pradesh CM Jairam Thakur, Madhya Pradesh CM Shivraj Singh Chauhan, UP's newly elected CM Yogi Adityanath, Haryana CM Manohar Lal Khattar, Tripura CM Biplabi Kumar Deb, Gujarat CM Bhupendra Patel, Goa's newly elected CM Pramod Sawant, among others, will attend the ceremony. Few chief ministers have already reached Dehradun to attend the ceremony. 25,000 people are expected to attend the ceremony.
The Union Home Ministry has sought a detailed report from the West Bengal government over the Birbhum violence which claimed lives of 10 persons after their houses were set on fire. The move came after a 9-member delegation of BJP MPs from West Bengal met Union Home Minister Amit Shah in New Delhi and sought his intervention and action against the perpetrators of the crime. The BJP has demanded a strict action against the accused involved in the violence that claimed 10 lives at Rampur Hat of Birbhum district in the state from the West Bengal government. The party has also demanded relief to victims and to strengthen the law and order situation in the area. In this regard, BJP President J.P. Nadda has nominated a 5-member fact-finding committee to visit the affected site to collect all the evidences. The National Commission for Women has taken cognizance of the West Bengal's Birbhum incident and asked Director General of Police West Bengal to personally intervene and take strict action against the culprits. The chairperson of NCW, Rekha Sharma, has written a letter to the DGP West Bengal and SP Birbhum in this regard. She has also sought immediate arrest of all the accused for committing this horrific crime. Ms. Sharma said the action taken in the matter must be intimated to the Commission within 24 hours. You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Both Houses of Parliament witnessed adjournments amid protests by opposition members over rise in prices of petrol, diesel and LPG cylinders. Government sets a target of creating 220 new airports by 2025, informs Civil Aviation Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia in Lok Sabha. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate Biplabi Baharat Gallery at Victoria Memorial Hall, Kolkata this evening through video conferencing on the occasion of Shahid Divas. Nehru Yuva Kendra Sangathan observed Shahid Divas across the country as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. India scripts history by achieving its highest ever goods export target of $400 billion today. Senior BJP leader Pushkar Singh Dhami to be sworn in as Chief Minister of Uttarakhand this afternoon. Budget session of Delhi Assembly begins. In Swiss Open Badminton, PV Sindhu, Saina Nehwal and K. Srikanth to start their campaign today. And top seed Ashley Barty announces retirement from professional tennis. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
Welcome back to the Midday News. The Centre has said there is no longer any need to invoke the provisions of the Disaster Management Act for COVID containment measures. The decision has been taken in view of steep decline in the number of COVID-19 cases in the country. The Centre has also advised states and union territories to discontinue issuing orders and guidelines under the Act. Union Home Secretary Ajay Bhalla has written a letter to all states and union territories to this effect. However, advisories of the Union Health Ministry on COVID containment measures, including on the use of face mask and hand hygiene, will continue to guide the overall national response to the pandemic. He said states and UTs have also developed their own capacities and systems and have implemented their own detailed action plans to manage the pandemic. The Centre has said that some media reports are suggesting relaxation in mask wearing and hand hygiene COVID protocols is baseless. The Union Health Ministry said use of face mask and hand hygiene will continue to guide COVID management measures. More than 181 crore 89 lakh COVID vaccine doses have been administered in the country so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. The Health Ministry said more than 30 lakh 53,000 doses were administered in the last 24 hours. India's active caseload currently stands at 23,087 and it is at 0.05%. The recovery rate is currently at 98.75%.
The budget session of Delhi Assembly began today with the customary address of Lieutenant Governor Anil Bajal. In his address, Mr. Bajal highlighted and admired various welfare initiatives for people of all sections by the Delhi government during corona pandemic. He said Delhi's gross domestic product GDP at current prices during year 2021-22 has been recorded at 9,23,967 crore rupees, which is an increase of 50% during the period of last 5 years from 6,16,085 crore rupees in 2016-17. The SG said this reflects the deep strength of Delhi's current economy. He said per capita income of Delhi at current prices is estimated at 4,01,982 in 2021-22, which is about 3 times higher than the national average. In Assam, polls for the Guwahati Municipal Corporation will be held on the 19th of April. Talking to newspersons in Guwahati today, State Election Commissioner Alok Kumar said that counting of votes will be held on the 21st of next month. He said polling will be held for 60 seats, out of which 50% seats will be reserved for women. Mr. Kumar mentioned that the 30th of this month is the last day of filing of nomination and scrutiny of papers will take place on the 1st of April. The 4th of April is the last day of withdrawal of nomination papers.
And now let's listen to our special program Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav.
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News, Birth of a Nation.
India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings
Divas, and remembering the sacrifices of the great heroes of the freedom struggle, Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev Thapar and Shivaram Hari Rajguru, who were martyred on the 23rd of March 1931. The young freedom fighters who believed in the ideology of making some noise to wake up the slumbering British rulers were hanged by the colonial rulers in Lahore jail.
deeply affected by the death of Lala Lajpat Rai, who was mortally wounded while leading a non-violent protest against the Simon Commission when it visited Lahore on October 30th, 1928. They decided to strike back at the British. In 1928, they planned to kill British Police Superintendent James Scott, who was responsible for the death of Lala Lajpat Rai. However, another British police officer, J.P. Saunders, was killed due to mistaken identity.
After the incident, the group went underground for a few months. However, in April 1929, Bhagat Singh resurfaced along with another associate, Batukeshwar Dutt, and they threw a bomb inside the Central Legislative Assembly in Delhi to make the deaf British government hear them. The duo allowed themselves to be arrested while shouting the famous slogan, Inqalab Zindabad.
Bhagat Singh's time in the prison was spent protesting, seeking better living conditions for inmates. During this time, he gained the sympathy of the public for the 114 days hunger strike. Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev and Rajguru were convicted. The legendary freedom fighters were in their early 20s only when they were hanged in the Lahore jail after being sentenced to death by the British colonial rulers.
The three freedom fighters remain immortal in the heart of every Indian. All India Radio salutes the great martyrs.
जागो जवानो देश पुकार खून में आण्यो रवानी मुल्क मता जह जान दिनी सा याद कयो कुर्बानी है मुकालानी
We also remember freedom fighter Hemu Kalani, who was born on the 23rd of March 1923 in Sakar, now in Pakistan.
As a child and young man, Hemu campaigned with his friends for boycott of foreign goods and tried to persuade people to use Swadeshi goods. He was also drawn to revolutionary activities. Hemu was the leader of Swaraj Sena, a student organization affiliated with All India Students Federation.
Hemu participated in the Quit India movement in 1942. He got the information that the British administration was sending special troops with European battalions to Sindh to suppress the movement. He decided to derail the train by which the troops and supplies were coming by removing the fish plates from the railway track.
However, Hemu and his associates were seen by the British troops before being able to complete the sabotage. Hemu was caught, imprisoned and tortured. Hemu refused to divulge any information and was put on trial and sentenced to death.
On the 21st of January 1943, Hemu Kalani appeared extremely overjoyed and walked to the gallows with a copy of the Bhagavad Gita in his hands. We salute the great freedom fighter.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
In Telangana, 11 workers died when a fire engulfed a scrap go-down at Boiguda area in Hyderabad during the wee hours. Officials suspect short circuit could be the reason for the fire accident. However, the exact reason is yet to be ascertained. Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao announced an ex gratia of 5 lakh rupees each to the families of the deceased workers. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has expressed grief at the loss of lives due to the tragic fire. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said his thoughts are with the bereaved families in this hour of grief. An ex gratia of 2 lakh rupees each from Prime Minister's National Relief Fund will be given to the next of kin of the deceased. Press Information Bureau Bhubaneswar today organized a one-day media workshop Vartalap in the holy city of Puri. Addressing the media representatives, Bhupendra Kantola, DG PIB East Zone, emphasized the urgency of skill upgradation for journalists in this age of Internet.
In Swiss Open Badminton, Indian pair of B. Sumit Reddy and Ashwini Ponnappa beat Denmark's Mads Vestergaard and Natasja P. Antonsen to advance to the second round of the mixed doubles qualifiers at Basel yesterday. The Indian mixed doubles pair won 18-21, 21-16, 21-17 in a qualification first-round match. Most of the top Indian players, including P.V. Sindhu, Saina Nehwal and K. Srikanth, will start their campaign today. In tennis, world number 1 in women's category, Ashley Barty, has announced her retirement from professional tennis. The 25-year-old Australian made the announcement on social media today, saying she was leaving to chase other dreams.
Now let us take a quick look at the weather forecast for today. National capital Delhi will have a mainly clear sky. Temperature will hover between 22 to 36 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have a partly cloudy sky. Minimum temperature was 24 degrees, while maximum expected to be around 33. Chennai is likely to have thunderstorm with rain. Temperature will vary between minimum 26 to maximum 38 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will have a mainly clear sky. Minimum temperature was 26 degrees. Maximum will be around 36. And now before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Both Houses of Parliament witnessed adjournments amid protests by opposition members over rise in prices of petrol, diesel and LPG cylinders. Government sets a target of creating 220 new airports by 2025, informs Civil Aviation Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia in Lok Sabha. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate Biplabi Baharat Gallery at Victoria Memorial Hall, Kolkata this evening through video conferencing on the occasion of Shahid Divas. Nehru Yuva Kendra Sangathan observes Shahid Divas across the country as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. India scripts history by achieving its highest ever goods export target of $400 billion today. Senior BJP leader Pushkar Singh Dhami to be sworn in as Chief Minister of Uttarakhand this afternoon. Budget session of Delhi Assembly begins. In Swiss Open Badminton, P.V. Sindhu, Saina Nehwal and K. Srikanth to start their campaign today. And top seed Ashleigh Barty announces retirement from professional tennis. And with that we end the midday news.